It's okay.
Okay, don't
Good
hit me.
evening, everybody. And I'm Noreen McClendon, and this is Free to Heal. I'm your facilitator and your host. And we are at Free to Heal. We are formerly incarcerated and and loved ones, and we come together every week so that we can heal from the scars that were inflicted upon all of us as a result of mass incarceration. And I'm always blessed to have uh, my folks here in the peanut gallery. And a lot of times they are quite funny and quite engaging. And there are a lot of things that you guys don't know that I suffer being here in this room.
Why would you say something like that?
Well, because it's the truth. It's the truth. They don't see what I go through with y'all up in here. They don't know. And so I'm just I'm just dealing with it, anyway. But what I wanted to say was I understand that Miss Vivian had an experience recently and I would like for her to tell us about that.
Okay. Well, on the 17th of May, this is our third trip. We went to the CMCF and we had family day with the men's and their kids, their wives, their daughters, and all of the children. And we fellowship with them. They had the band out playing. And by the way, it made the news. It made the news, Jackson, Mississippi news. Three on your side was there, and we did not know it until today. And just to see this one guy walked up and he says, I hadn't seen my daughter in 5 years. It's going to be the first time seeing my daughter in 5 years. And that was very touching to hear him say that. And he's an older guy. And we had another guy to walk up, because I'm giving the bags out to them. We took 200 bags. Well, 300 in all, 200 to the guys that were visiting. And some of their family didn't come, but they still got their care packages.
Let
And we
me
had
ask
hot
you a
dogs.
question. Let me ask you a question. So the people that you went to visit, as I understand it, these are people that haven't had visits in a long time. And did you bring particular family members for them? Is that what happened? Also, was
No,
that also
no.
part of it?
Strive Initiative. Strive Initiative. A girl that lived here in Canton. We was incarcerated together. And when she came out, I used to tell her all the time, well, you always talking about what you want to do. Give back. Give back. So, since she been home, we've been going back. Our next one is with the women's. She been going back. We take toys and things for the kids. We take hot dog, hamburgers, cupcake, cookies, drinks, water, popcorn, cotton candy, and just let them just have themselves a ball. Space
I'm so
jumps,
happy for that.
games
That's
the kids can
awesome.
play. But they also get to take toys on with them. They go back like, instead what's their daddy bring them up there. They get what they want. They have a choice to pick what they want. It was awesome. It was very awesome.
I just want to
Hmm.
commend you guys for the work that you're doing and say thank you on behalf of them and their families, particularly for people who don't get to get visits.
Yeah.
It is an amazing thing. I can distinctly remember um, one lady, we worked together with the Ex Offender Action Network, and I'll never forget her crying very hard when we discussed that she was in the feds for 5 years and never had a single visit. She didn't get letters, she didn't get visits, she didn't get anything for 5 years. So for her, it was very traumatic. And I know that um, I've had, when I go in to teach, sometimes I hear um, the guy say, "Oh man, this was like my visits." Like by the end of the 8 weeks that I
Hmm.
go in, they're like, "Oh man, this was like my visits. I don't get visits," and it just makes you sad. But the other thing I want to say though, Vivian, is that is one characteristic that I find consistent in people who come home from incarceration, and that is the desire to give back,
Hmm.
to do for people that are in the same position that they have been in. And I find it commendable, because giving back isn't just something people automatically do. But I do
Mm-hmm.
know that I see a lot of people, it is something that I see consistently,
Mm-hmm.
um, with people who have been incarcerated. They want to give back. And then to hear you say that you suggested to her that she give back was also a good thing. It's one of the ways to help. Um, Let me put it this way: when I am helping somebody else, it certainly takes away any, it certainly pushes to the side at a minimum,
Mm-hmm.
any challenges that I might be going through.
Yes, ma'am. I have
And
been
it
working
makes,
12 hours. I worked 12 hours at night. I took a shower before I left my job, before I left my sitting job. Came home, changed out my uniform, called her, we got on down because it's give it to me just being there. It's just a look on their face. It's a sincerity as a child, and I'm just volunteering with her. That's her organization. But since the first went to Greenwood and took 500 care packages up there to the females, and I've been with her ever since. Every time she go, she called me. You ready? She was trying to make me president over. I told her no, 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 no. Volunteering is good enough for me because when you call, I'm be there. If I got to work, I already signed, let them know. Look, I'm not gonna be here. I'm going to volunteer. I even let my church know. Because it's something that I love, and to see the sincerity. They're like kids when somebody's doing something special for them. That's special for them, and the faces, the looks, and the kids get to hugging their daddies. Oh my God, it's searching. There's a lot of it searching, especially when the man rolled up in a wheelchair. He didn't have no legs, but he rolled up. He said, "Only thing I want is a hot dog. I don't want no cookie, no chip. Just give me one hot dog." And that was like, we didn't give him one. We gave him four. Take it some back with you. Because it was just, you on grass and you rolling. I mean, some of the stuff you see when you go to give back, you know, I've been there, so I know how it is. You know,
and the
showing people showing they
gratitude is
care.
something else. The gratitude is something else, Viv. Like,
Hmm.
for people that don't have anything, they don't have anybody doing what they need for them to do. Um, it matters to them. It means something. And, for you guys, the hot dog wasn't a big thing because you had brought
No,
them to give them away. But this person, the simplicity of, I just want a hot dog.
Just ask for a hot dog.
Just a hot dog.
just a,
Like,
he didn't want nothing else
oh,
on it, just a dog in the bun. He didn't want anything else on it. And not
wow.
anything. He said, I waited. I've been waiting for y'all to come back. Because we was there in I think of a mall. We take pictures every time we go. I got a lot of pictures that we taken too. And the little boy looked at me, he said, "Thank you." I said, "For what, baby?" He said, "I hugged my daddy neck." He said, and the little child looked like he was no more than about 5 years old. The grandmama brought him. Then I think about the men's that's down for that particular day with family members, but the family member don't show up, so they don't let them out. So we talked to
Yeah.
the superintendent, was so nice about it. Make sure they get their care package.
Mm,
Make sure they get everything we got out here. And that I love the way when she do that. We never come back with nothing. And we have to give extra, extra, extra. We give it till it's all gone. We
right,
double
because you
bags and
took it
all
there to
that.
give it away.
We
Yeah,
never
you
bring
took it there to
anything
give it
back
away.
no
What's the
more
point
than
of keeping it or
charged.
taking it back?
Hmm.
You know, you can't,
Hmm.
what you gonna do with it? You know what I'm saying? You bought it for them. And some of those people don't have family members, um, that, they're indigent and they don't have family members to buy them things. They don't have those
Hmm.
things. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of them and their families, because some people just don't
Hmm.
get an opportunity. So I definitely wanted to lift that up and talk about, give you an opportunity to share, what it felt like for you
Mm-hmm.
to be there doing what you're doing. And as I would have expected, right, the simple gratitude, the amount of gratitude from the participants is a big thing. What I wanted to, I have, I told you guys I love it when you guys talk, right? And so this is about reentry and reunification with families and us being better people, healing our wounds and things like that. And I want to ask, in any area for those people on that have been incarcerated, what has been, what particular plan did you have for yourself for when you came home that you faced challenges in making that plan go smoothly, and how did you fix it or how did you overcome it? So if you had a plan and there were obstacles placed in front of you when you came home, or something
Mm-hmm.
didn't go like you thought it would, or if there's just any particular thing that you found challenging on your way, since you came home. Go ahead, Miss Shore, you had your hand up.
So I don't know about in state prison, but in the feds, the 5 last years is where you start to wind up your time. And so I was at camp and I got in trouble and I had to, but in the camp, I was at 5 years left. So I started doing ceramics. They were teaching me to knit, they were teaching me to crochet because that's how you'll spend your time, right? And it goes quick when you're making the things and doing the stuff. And I got in trouble, got shipped the car as well, and they were supposed to let me come back to camp in Phoenix, but I went to Wasika, Minnesota. And while I was there, because there was a new prison that the man had been there 17 years, so it's a new facility for women. It wasn't like to do. I think last week I said that they put us in all the drug classes, whether we were there for drugs or not, because they were getting paid for it, and we find out it was $25 on our books, and we didn't know what. And then they said, "Oh, because you were in drug class." But in the interim of all this, they had these nice blue folders, and I bought folders and I started making plans for 8 different things I wanted to do. I am home 13 years and they are still sitting on the dining room table with the rubber band around them that I have never opened up.
Why?
When I came home, it was like a given that I was going to be able to bring my mother home from the nursing home. So I had to go and file for conservatorship of her in 2013. I got custody of her in 2015, and that became my life, taking care of her. And they have still went unopened. But I did complete business stuff with those. I came up with concepts for I used to always wonder what would happen to Alvin. So I created a place for children like Alvin where they could all grow old. I did the foundation school because my friend had said to me, "Cheryl, how come my mother and them been in church all their life and they don't have nothing?" And I said, because foundationally, we're not taught how to believe. We just go to church and give money. We're not taught. And the foundation school would have been that. And I can't even remember what the other stuff was. But I created a whole bunch of a life for me and stuff. And I lived a whole nother life.
Isn't that interesting though that you initially, Monica, and I see your hand and you can go next, isn't it interesting how whatever you thought when you were behind the wall may be totally different than what happens when you come home. And that's one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about this, because you may face things that you didn't even know were an issue, or whatever your plan was, you thought it was going to go this way and it didn't. And then I wanted anybody that face an obstacle to whatever it was, if you know how to overcome it, that we could share it. Because again, we record these and we post them on YouTube, excuse me, so that people who are not able to attend may actually go back and be able to watch it before. Go ahead.
So that kind of thing is, I thought that when I come home, my relationship with my son was gonna be like this, and it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't. My friend said to me, I used to tell the girls all the time, you know your kid's gonna be mad when you come home. They mad at you now. And my one friend that did to 27, she said, why? I said, because you left. Mothers don't leave. Even when a mother dies, a child is angry. Because mothers really don't go anywhere. And that's what a mother is there.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I had asked him, I said, are you gonna come live with me? He said, I don't know what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be grown by the time you get home and stuff. So I just thought, okay, I'm home now. The relationship can start. And it didn't. And we're still 13 years later, we're still he calls me Cheryl. We try to go eat once a week. And he just, and I chalk it up to, I don't really know him and he doesn't really know me. I really do. Because he doesn't know how I am. And if he had grown up with me, he would have known how his mother is, but he doesn't know how I am.
And that's true at some level too. But one thing I will say that I've noticed, and I think we talked about this briefly, is your DNA is so much there because there are things that I've only, like, I see him on video or whatever, but I'm telling you, he's so much like you in so many ways, but he doesn't even know it. But it's DNA. And over the years that I've known you, I've watched you try to build that relationship. And I want to commend you from this standpoint. You did try to force yourself on him.
Only, let me just say this, because
The first time,
when I tried to clean his ears.
when you first got out.
When I got out, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to clean your ears because I used to always do that. He's not 4 anymore. He's a grown man. I can't do that.
I always thought was funny. Every time you tell that story, I'm thinking, oh my God, who, you know what I'm saying? But see, that was still your baby. He was still your baby. He was not this big old grown up man, the one who you were looking at his arms and his hands and stuff when he was asleep on the airplane and realizing, oh my God, he's huge comparison to what I remembered.
Because I used to hold him. I knew I was going to prison. And I would hold Nicholas and I would rub his back and I would say, you rub it now so you can remember to feel when you're gone. Remember to feel when you're gone. I used to rub his head so I could remember to feel. And when he used to come, he would lay his head on the table for me to rub his head.
Because he remembered it at that time. But then, of course, as he's gotten older, that probably faded some. and
yeah, but he does this now. Because I say things to him. He doesn't respond all the time, but I pour my heart out to him. But when we're crossing the street now, he'll grab my hand or he'll try to grab my arm because he said, I don't want you to fall.
Yeah. See, it's improving. Now, it's slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've been home almost as long as you have been gone. Right. And that is something that I always try to encourage people. Whatever changed while you were gone, however long you were gone, you always talk about the fact that people say they want to make up for lost time. You cannot do that.
Do it.
It's not going to happen. But however long you were gone, give yourself at least half that amount of time to get back to where you think it should be or where you want it to be. In your instance, it's taken a while. And I want to say this too. Children, about them being angry, they express it as anger, but it's hurt. And hurt and anger oftentimes look very similar. I can promise you, as a person, that this is something I learned about myself. If you hurt me, is when I will fuck you up. That's when I become dangerous. You can piss me off, and that's one thing. But when you hurt me, that's when you should be careful. And so there's that. Now, Monica, you've had your hand up, and so I'd like for you to go ahead and respond to the question.
Well, when Vivian said that the little boy said, thank you, I got to hug my dad's neck, I immediately started crying and revert it back to 25 years ago. Fast forward about half an hour ago, my son called me with my grandson, and I can only see him the majority of the time through a camera, through a phone. So I'm still in prison. I'm still in prison.
You know,
It's an emotional prison.
I wish I could hug you right about now.
And thank you. And my boys were 10 and 8 when I left. And the oldest hated me for about 8 years. Now he's a father. And he was here 2 weeks ago. And he must have told me thank you like 5 times because I cooked for him day and night. And his girlfriend doesn't cook for him. So he hadn't had a home cooked meal in so long. And I attended to my baby grandson. But when Vivian said that, I remember clearly when they would leave and they would tell me, when are you going to come home? And I said, in 2.5 years, but I've never gone home. So they have demons that they deal with nicely because they always visit me. But being a deported woman where her family is all home, I live here alone. I don't have family around me. And I'm crying because that triggered me, that little boy, because I remembered my little boys and I promised them that I was going home and I never did. I never did. And I could have crossed the border and been illegal and what? Ended up back in prison? Fuck no. Never. I'll never go back to prison ever.
Yeah. And because they can come visit you is the reason why your decision is the right decision. Despite the sacrifices that it means for you.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can only, for the most part, see your grandson on video. Again, I wish I could hug you because the deportation was a consequence for sure.
Yeah.
And it's horrible that that is part of what it is, but it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. And it's part of it. And I beat myself up for many years. Alcohol was my best friend, my lover, my confidant. Oh, that we had a bad relationship. He would come and go, and I would like, you know. But
I
I
do.
think I think I understand now why I would do it because I didn't want to feel the pain. 2 years ago, I would have grabbed alcohol and drank right now as I'm talking to you to not feel it, not to go through the wave of the pain. My 9-year-old granddaughter said the other day, "When are you coming home, Grandma? When are you gonna be here? I want you here." And again, that broke me, but it didn't drive me to drink, which I love now. Yeah, I've dealt now. I deal with it differently. What's gonna be the end game? You're gonna have a little pity party by yourself. Let's have a little pity party, cry. And right now, I haven't cried like this in a very long time. So that's a good thing.
And the fact that you've learned coping skills.
And healing.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Yeah, you're healing.
Yeah.
And the wounds, and I hope that part of this process is giving yourself some grace along the way, right? The unintended consequences are the unintended consequences, babe. You didn't
Oh,
intend any of these things. Whatever sent you to prison, none of this was on that bingo card, as it were, right?
yeah.
As a saying.
Yeah.
You didn't wake up today and whatever day you got arrested and decide that you were going to do whatever you did that was going to ruin your child's lives and so that you would never be able to come home again. That just didn't happen.
And get deported all at the same time.
Right, and be deported and never be able to come home. That is not what your intention was, no matter what it was that you did. I just because I've never met, and I can say that without having asked you, because I've never met a single person who said, yeah, I woke up that morning, I knew I was going to go do this and I was doing this so I could ruin my child's life. I've never seen that. I've never had anybody tell me that. And so, it's just, it breaks my heart that you're sad, but I'm proud of you because you're not trying to numb,
Mm-hmm.
you're not trying to escape, you're
Mm-hmm.
not trying to run from it. You're actually going through it. You're allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to feel it. And that's the only way you can grow from it. The most painful things I've ever experienced, I had to experience the pain. There was no way for me to get past them or heal from those things unless and until I was willing to go through the pain. And what I found is on the other side of that, there is healing and there was peace. And so I'm super proud of you, and I'm grateful that you
Yeah.
shared with us.
And I feel that my boys coming all these years, sacrificing at the border, coming in the bus. I would pick them up at the border. My son was crossing at 16 years old, got in trouble, um, countless hours at the border, and they still visit me. You know,
They love you.
they still visit me. So that gives me grace. That is all, and I've made up for it for them. I've been there for them in every way, which way I can from here. And I've been blessed to be able to. But the most important thing is that they want me to be part of their children's lives. And they make sure that the camera is always on me and them. So
That's great. And thank you for your willingness to share that with us. I
you're
really
welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anybody else want to share it? So, Harry, I see you on here. You haven't been a minute. Our question tonight for all of you is, is there anything that you had, any plan that you may have had when you were incarcerated, that when you came home, you faced obstacles, and what did you do as a result of that? If there was, and was there any way that you were able to overcome it? But I just wanted to catch you up so that if you wanted to chime in and answer the question, that would be fine. But anybody else that wants to answer the question, feel free to chime
Yeah,
in.
I would love to do that, Noreen. First and foremost, I missed you. I've been just.
Pues no, pues él dice, chinga, hermano, pues es que es imposible. No, es que hermano, mire, déjale le digo.
Say that again, Harry, because Carlos was talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, I've been absent for a little bit, but I just, just doing what I got to do. I'm happy to say I'm off parole. I've been off. Yes, I'm off parole. So I'm just living and doing what I got to do. I've been working a lot, and I just want to apologize for not, just plugging in with you, Noreen. You're a big part of my.
No need.
Right.
No need to apologize. Listen, we're here because we all need to be here, right? We need to be here. This has to be here so that when you decided to come back, or when the window opened up, we're here. You understand what I'm saying? That's what's important to me, because the one thing I learned in serving this population is consistency. You've got to be consistent in whatever you're doing. If you want to help people who have been formerly incarcerated and loved ones, you got to be consistent. So I'm grateful that I can still be here.
Yeah. And I'm very grateful for you. I mean, because I started this process with you, over a year and a half or maybe longer, but I built a relationship. But you know what? It always tugs at my heart because I haven't plugged in. But to Monica, your story, I mean, what you shared, I connect with it. You're doing fine, hon. Just don't rush nothing. Everything's gonna fall in place. Just like myself. I've been out here in Los Angeles. I'm not even from Los Angeles. I've been out here for like 3 years, right? And always talk, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna make it? Well, you know what? I hate to say it, but yes, I did make it. And I'm free. So now
you shouldn't hate to say that. You should be proud to say that you made it, sweetie. And so along that process, what kinds of things were there things that you thought would go a particular way when you were ready to get out, or while you were inside that didn't go that way, and how have you adjusted?
Well, the thing is, a lot of guys when they get out, they're not ready for change. Sometimes
I want to talk about Harry.
Yeah, for me, I went through that. Okay, it was like a maze when I'm coming out, right? And I just had to make sure I follow the maze, and I'll find out how to get out of it. And but patience. I slowed myself down and let it come to me instead of me trying to rush to it. And that was my best. I think that was my best asset as far as like succeeding and pushing forward. And just continue to keep moving forward. Don't look over my shoulder. Yesterday was yesterday. Today's today. And let's keep going. So that's been my motto lately. Just but I'm dialed in. I'm focused, and I'm even more focused now, than I was before because, it's like a big ass boulder fell off my shoulders.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
called
getting off
freedom.
paper matters. It does. It's a different level of freedom
Sure.
and of movement and choice that comes with not
Right.
being on parole or any kind of paperwork or supervision.
Absolutely.
Because as we, all of us know, that system is also um, it's prison light a lot of times. And depending
Mhm.
on the parole officer you get or whatever, it can be daunting, and a minefield of things that can potentially send you back to prison. And the threat of constantly, the potential of being sent back to prison matters, right? That hanging over your head, that psychologically, that at any moment they can send me back for who knows what, is a challenge. So I'm just glad that you're off paper. I'm proud of you. And I'm glad that you're working, and I'm glad that we're here when you came back to holler at us. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for being
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
'Cause,
Anybody else?
thank.
Anybody else? Somebody talk to me.
I can.
Go ahead.
When I did my parole plans, I was supposed to go to Crossroads. And you did a parole plan. I was a long termer. And a week before I was to parole, they gave my bed away to Chubby. Remember Chubby? They gave it to, and it was circumstances that had to do with my case. But nobody never talked to me to have that conversation. They just did it. And I didn't know where I was going to go. I couldn't go to up north with my mom, so I just kind of didn't know what that looked like. And my attorney, and he was a attorney from the county jail. Like he wasn't my attorney. I call him my attorney, but he wasn't paid for. But he found me a place in San Diego quickly, and I went to San Diego. And
That's a huge shift, isn't it?
mhm.
Wow. I mean, that's not even a little bitty thing. That's a huge thing. Like to be 2 hours away from where
And I didn't know anything about San Diego, but I will say San Diego was very beautiful, and I learned different things. Like I had got a job and got on a trolley, and I was doing stuff by myself, but I still craved home.
it's okay. It's okay.
And so I don't even know why I'm emotional right now.
It's an emotional topic.
It
Real.
is.
Because I'm thinking stuff, prison stuff, and come home stuff inside after talking about that. So yeah.
Then I had a mutual friend with Susan, and Susan told Sherelle to tell me to call, and she figured out. She let me come to her home.
Bless her heart.
Let me come there was probably one of the that's the one thing I
Oh,
always be
Gerda.
grateful to her about because it's bigger than what y'all know. Because I'm just giving you a piece of this, and she didn't have to let me come to her home because it was a real serious thing, and she let me come, and it's still life is still a challenge, but I now
as you see, it still hurt me, but now I know how to choose, because I always think back to that one, the people I chose, that one instance in my life, and now it cost this big thing, and like I'm gonna always be stuck in this little place, but I now know how to choose the people I'm around. I don't never want to be in that position again.
Mhm. Yeah. You know,
Big
I
hug,
really
Berta.
gotta,
Big hug.
Yeah,
I
that's a
know, I
big
really
one.
gotta give you major
Doing
props for speaking.
doing real good.
People don't often understand. You have to be here to know. And for you to trust us at this point to be able to open up and talk about it in our presence is enormous. And it is an enormous honor to me that we have gotten to a place that you feel comfortable to open up about those things. And I want to say this to you, though. You have overcome all of whatever it is, whatever happened. You are gainfully employed. You have your own place. You have your own beautiful car. You come in here with them fly glasses that I'm trying to figure out how I could steal them and not let you get up out of here with them. You cute every day. I want you to know what an inspiration you are, because you've been through so much. Because there are things that happen that you had no control over, and those things affected your everyday life. And as you said, there was a choice of who you were around, and it's affected you moving forward, and it's something that you feel will be with you always. And I just want to say to you, I'm so proud and I'm so thankful that you shared with us today, because somebody else is going through something similar, and your testimony may become their survival guide. Mm-hmm. They can look at you because the things you had to do, you had to pivot big time. Mm-hmm. You had to trust somebody you didn't know, the attorney you didn't even know. You had ideas. Nobody bothered to tell you why they changed and gave away your bed. Nobody said nothing. And you had to figure all this out on your own. But guess what happened? Yeah. You did. You did. High five. Three up top, player. Because you did it. You did it. And I'm so happy for you. And I'm so proud that you did it. And yes, I understand why it still hurts. I do. I understand, because there were things that you didn't get to choose. And I know when our choice is taken away from us, it hurts. It hurts, especially if you got to pay the price for it. You know, like, it's one thing if I don't have no choice and it don't affect me, but these things have affected your entire life, your children's lives, all of that. You wanted to say something?
The sad part of it is that people still hold women. I can always speak for the women. Women will still hold the pain, the hurt, what I did wrong, and oftentimes do not look at where they are from the point when they went in.
Yeah.
And we have a habit of saying to the women, I'm you. I've been where you are. And stuff. Me and Coco today had to talk to a lady. She said, I don't have nobody. I don't have nobody. Coco said, we're your family. I said, we're your family, girl. We are. Don't nobody care, but we care. I don't have nothing. She said, I don't have no bra. I don't have no panties. They stole my clothes. And I said, guess what? She get ready to get that stuff for you. So at the end, she's still crying, but she's saying, thank you guys so much. Thank you, because people don't understand. People really do care about them. And there are resources out there to make you feel loved again.
Yeah.
Because they go into prison, the women lose a lot. The women
Yeah.
lose a lot, yeah.
Yeah, because of the expectations and the nature of our role in society causes that causes them to look at us differently, and we lose a lot. You know, like women do lose a lot because there's so many expectations on them. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big deal. You know, the idea we had a guy came here, he had written a book, one of Diane's favorite visitors.
You know what?
And so we're friends on Facebook. And I guess he was out of commission or he was unreachable and something happened and people thought that he had been shot. And he was saying his phone was blowing up and people were, calling to check on him and so forth. And I couldn't help but to say to him, I hope you know that that means that people really do care about you. Because he has a tendency to think that very thought, Cheryl, that nobody cares about him.
That's how you talk. That's how you act.
Yes, and that the work that he does goes unnoticed, and a lot of times it's almost like he thinks that he's the only person that had the idea or the desire for things to happen. But I was letting him know I don't want you to miss the fact that all of those calls were to let you know that people do care about you. You are not the only one. You're not a person that people don't care about, even if it's not the people you want it to be.
You don't feel or look the way you want it to look.
Very good way to say that. Because it doesn't mean you want to say something else.
That adage, the one, blood, family is not always blood,
That's right.
but it's the people. And in prison, it's not the blood part there. It's not the blood.
Yeah.
The people, and I used to always tell people that you will hear from people from prison Christmas. Because that's the time when family gets together and that's the time we were all we had. So they'll be like, remember, and I remember this. And it's like that because that's for real. That's real family time there. And people be like, my friend said to my one friend, why is she still friends with them? And he said, do you realize that was half of her life then that she spent? Why wouldn't she have friends?
Not to
Right?
mention the fact that what you survived together,
That I say who pulled you through.
listen, when you talk to people who have been in war, they oftentimes, and even like law enforcement, they oftentimes feel more connected and attached and more family from the people that they've been through things with, life and death experiences.
Yep.
That will make a bond with someone that may be different than the fact that we just happen to be born from the same bloodline. And so it makes me think to digress and say this one thing that I'm super proud of that happened this past weekend, and that was in Watts. There was a mural unveiling that had 6 women from Watts, and it's called Women Rising, and it was a lady. I was able to represent Betty Day, who is deceased, but Betty who was a mother of Watts. Anybody in Watts, any length of time, know about Betty Day. But Betty chose me to be her daughter. She chose me to be in her family. So, and I introduced myself in telling them in 2005 she adopted me. And it's because she chose me. She had 8 children of her own, but she chose me, which I guess we just gonna cry tonight, shit.
It's deep.
If the blood don't
It's
make you
okay.
family shit.
She
period.
chose me. She and so I have blood family that don't speak to me.
Mhm.
Her children still speak to me. Everybody had stuff to do and they got notice about the event at the last minute and I was able to attend. So they asked me to represent them. For our mom. And I will tell you that it matters to me because she chose me. My mother gave birth to me, and my mother adored me. She, hands down, no ifs, ands, or two ways about it. But it's something different when you choose your circle. It's something different, and it can happen for a variety of reasons. That people choose to family and be family to other people. I can honestly say you guys, in just you guys here, are more family to me in many instances than my own family. Because y'all chose me to be in your life. You had a choice about it. And I know that that's part of the reason why it's so painful for you, because a lot of stuff you didn't have a choice about. But yet you had to pay the price for the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you didn't get to choose. It was chosen for you. But I also say right behind that though that you can now choose not to let that steal your joy moving forward. So that's the plus side, is that you do get to choose when you think about it, not to think about the pain, but to think about yourself as the survivor. And the fact that you live long enough to have the opportunity to see it, to see the difference, to not be incarcerated, to not be wearing them ugly ass blues.
I was getting ready to say about the uniforms too. Yep.
You get to choose now. And that blue you got on the day is
You
fire.
killed-
I'm telling you, I'm still trying to take the glasses. I'm trying to figure out how to get them out of here. So yes, ma'am.
The other dynamic of it is what you're saying. Because we're sharing in the same experience, the bonding part. The children who don't have come, because I told people, I said for the whole 17 and a half years, because when I got to prison, I worked in the chapel. Chaplain said, "What were you doing?" I said, "I was 3/4 away from my BA as I wanted to be a psychotherapist." And he said, "Well, you have plenty of people to study here." And I said, the listening to young women whose mother put them out when they were 13, 14, they got pregnant when they were 13, 14. They had to stop going to school to help take care of their siblings. And then I'm going to education one day, and the girl said, Miss Ward, we got our GED. And I said, oh my God. And I went to education and said, what's a GED? And so now I'm wondering why you guys didn't finish school. I know those reasons, but what else? Why didn't you go back? But I found this. I don't know about state. I know this. Like my friend Sarita, I didn't see her for 9 years. Her sister's getting married. They go to Vegas. She said, sure, you in LA? I'm coming to see you. We'll hug, and this is not just her. When I see them, we will hug, we will cry for a minute, and we go right back to talking like we just saw each other yesterday. And I tell people, that's because we were that close there. It's not like family. This my sister. She's 2 years older than me. She played with me till I go to kindergarten. I got my own little friends. Now she go. She get 9, I'm 7. When she get 13, I'm 11. When she's 15, she don't play with me no more. And we're separated, but there we're 24 hours together. So it's a whole different kind of family dynamic in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And again, it's that foxhole kind of thing, right? You in the foxhole, you in the trenches together, baby. This right here, because keep this in mind. You're not just trying to survive physical incarceration. You're trying to survive an attempt to annihilate you mentally and spiritually. Prison isn't just about physical removal from society. Oh, no, 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 no. It is designed to take the heart and soul of a person and to make you feel less human. That's why I call it the zoo. Yeah. Yeah. I've always called it the zoo. Because it is. It really is. And it's not again, it's not designed just for punishment. There's more to it than that in incarceration. There is a system designed to destroy the soul of the person that is incarcerated. It's just not. That's what it's for. Yeah, it is to destroy the soul. Anybody else?
I wanted to say this before we get off. I want to say this before we get off. The young lady that I went I do the volunteering with when we was in prison. You know the kind of people that she hung around. I didn't hang around those kind of people. You know, she literally told me I was beneath her. She had to adjust to our way of living. But the things that I said to her, the things that rested with her, it stay sincere because I put something on her mind. We are no different. We are all behind these walls. We are rehabilitating, restoring, and rebuilding ourselves. So when you get off your high horse and decide to come down that ladder, you're going to realize we're all
We'll be
trying to
right here.
survive. Yeah. So
Yeah,
with that
you know,
being
because that's something,
said,
Vivian, that wall
mhm,
and that number gives you an indication. It don't matter where you came from, sugar. We all the same up in
thank you.
here.
They
And
like
that's
to
how
differentiate.
our connection came about. The words that I said to her. And when she came home and she started researching and stuff and getting off into it, giving back, she said every time she would do something, someone would say, call Vivian. See if Vivian will come along with you. So that's how that came about. Because I had to give her a fat check while she was there to let her know, hey, we hometown sure enough, but hey, yeah, you may have been running for mayor. But in here, there is no mayor. Them wardens,
Number.
them whole
Wow.
number. Yes, but
Great number,
I just
baby.
wanted to let y'all know that's how we really clicked it because she went to school with my son and he wanted me to look out for her. But I was beneath her because I didn't bounce by her rules. I mean, hey, you ain't no mayor in here, you know.
That's interesting. That is really
Hmm.
something else. And sure, you were saying that they do like to differentiate, huh?
Yeah, go back to the thing because my mind is doing like this.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, when I was in the Victorville camp, the one girl, she's from Hawaii. I worked in the kitchen with her. The other lady who worked in the kitchen used to talk about her because her and her husband came because they got hooked on drugs and lost their money and stuff. So the lady used to say, "That's horrible. You're a horrible person," and stuff. And she asked the lady one day, "What did you do? Why are you here?" And the lady said, "Oh, I worked at a company and I was embezzling money." And she said, "So you're a thief?"
To be clear.
But they say that. Well, I wasn't selling drugs. I didn't come to prison
but you
for
were
selling
thinking,
drugs.
I'd rather the dope. I
Yeah, I'd
prefer
rather
the dope
the
dealer
drug
than the
dealer
thief
than the
any day of the
thief.
week. You, I'm not gonna let in my house because you steal. And you could say because you were stealing from a company is different. No,
Stealing is
you're
stealing.
a thief. You are a common thief. Okay, however you want to call it,
Yeah.
you're a thief. B, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I would say I thought things were going to move much faster when I got out, and I didn't realize that how much the system is intended to slow you down.
Yeah.
Now it's quite intentional, and you're going to get more no's than you get yeses. Like even when I was applying for programs to get, back on my feet, there would be people that would say like, "Oh, that funding was cut," or you didn't have a state number. So if you weren't locked up in California, so it was always a sense of some hurdles. But what I found is the blessing in all of it has been I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I think I even said, now that I have a little bit more freedom to coming off the ankle monitor, I could get more social media and I could move in a different way. And I found myself feeling like I'm not going to even sign up for it. Like I've become disconnected from a lot of the vices that I had before. And I have no interest in rushing back to them. And so I do think the gentleman said patience has been something I've been thinking about a lot. And then also reminded myself I can't do anything about the past. I can't do a damn thing about the decisions I made in the past, but I can make better choices and design different life for myself in the future. And so that's what I'm going to focus on. I can't, cry over spilled milk or whatever analogy people want to use, but I can't spend another day disappointed in myself about, the past decisions. I just have to move forward. So
That's so huge. That's what I was telling Monica earlier about giving herself some grace, right? It's natural to feel disappointed in your choices. And you can have that, you can feel that, right? But what is it actually going to do for you? If you only focus on that, you're going to, because of the law of attraction, if you focus on disappointing yourself, you will disappoint yourself more because that's what the subconscious is focusing on, the fact that you disappointed yourself. So it becomes very important to make sure that you're focusing on what you want to see. No matter what the obstacles, because we've been talking tonight about plans that we had, plans that people had, and how they didn't go according to what you would have thought or what you had hoped. But I want everybody that is in this group tonight to realize you survived. You're here to tell the story. Think about that. When you think about it, don't think about I'm disappointed. Think about, but I survived.
can I say one thing that I've been thinking about, a ton recently is if you set a goal, this whole process has been intended to create hurdles that will stop you from that goal. And so what I've decided was my goals are my goals. It may take a little bit longer. I may have to make a right turn. I may have to make a left. I may have to go down a bumpy road, but I'm still locked in on the goal. And so that's one thing that I've been also thinking about a ton, just to say like, hey, I pivot when necessary, but don't allow them to take any more than they've already taken.
Right. And that's the psychological edge that you will have, is understanding not to allow them to cause any more unhappiness, give them any more power to make you feel less than or unhappy or discontent. You take your power back. Take your power back from the system that intended to destroy you. Give yourself credit, guys and girls, for having survived and coming out on the other side of this with your brains and your mind. Y'all, it's intact. You see what I'm saying? You guys are still functioning. Some people didn't make it. Some people went on them little pink pills, died.
Yeah.
They went on little pink pills that didn't need drugs, psychotropic drugs, and now they messed up.
Oh, and I'll tell you, the personal respect to you two, as well as you, from my perspective, I just was in the process for 5 years. I can't even imagine how they used to call it fried or whatever else. I barely handle my little time that I had. So when I see you guys, I'm actually in awe of you, of both of you, as well as having a son. In situations, I'm very proud of you guys, and I'll say that publicly because it's impressive.
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. But let me say this. People will say to me when I tell them, like on the bus, they heard me mention that I had been, and so the women started saying, "How long were you in prison?" I said 17. I always do what I do: 17 years, 6 months, 13 days, and 1 hour from the time I arrest. And now I'm adding on, and I did 5 years of supervised release. But I say to them, it's nothing. And I'm going to say it like I say it. I always say it's nothing. Roberta did 24. I think that's a huge number. But there are also people when I got to prison in 1996 that had been there and they're still there to this day. Those are the people that are doing long time. But the time also happens when people who go in commit suicide the same day they go in, not knowing the outcome of what's going to happen. And some people would have been released the next day. But it's a mental thing. It's a real mental thing.
And for me, surviving that piece of it is the real flex. That's the real flex, because it was designed to take that from you. It was designed to make you think less of yourself. It was designed to harm you emotionally and mentally. Why? Because so goes the mind, so goes the body. And again, whatever you focus on is what you're going to bring and what you're going to produce in your life, period.
There was a family that came, the two sisters, the sister-in-law, and the sister-in-law's two daughters, and they had got the man. Oh, they took a whole family out of Pomona. They had to put the little girl in foster care because nobody in the family was there to take care of her.
So say that again. Who was it?
In Pomona, they took the entire family.
No, but who was in the who was in the with?
Oh, this is another family. This is two sisters, their sister-in-law, and the sister-in-law's two daughters. So the aunts, is five, but they took the men too, which they take entire families. But before the year was out, one of the sisters had died of cancer. The other one, she had a muscle out of her leg, so she walked with a limp. The mother of the two girls woke up one day, put feces in her head, a box of Tide, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I got shipped 9 years later. She was down in Carswell, which is where they put the mental people. Okay. And I worked in the kitchen. They bring them out. They don't eat with population. They eat when the kitchen eats. And I was like, oh my God. And she said, where you know me from? I said, I was in Dublin with you. And she said, yeah, oh, yeah, okay. My daddy working on getting me out. I said, oh, that's so nice. She said, yeah, when I get out, I'm going to take care of, what's that boy married to Beyonce? And somebody said Jay-Z. And she said, yeah, I want to take his care of his mama and Usher. And I said, oh my God, because the lady that worked in the kitchen was doing me like this, right?
Don't even trip.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like when she talked to me, said my dad's been working on getting me out. I said, oh, she good. And then I said, she ain't good. But there was another girl, because I used to sit suicide watch. A girl named Lily, Hispanic girl, went to church all the time. And something happened. And we were there in suicide watch, and I was talking to her, and she said it was a recorder in her stomach. She goes to Carswell. She comes back months later, and that's when I started understanding some of these people are going home and are completely different people from left their family, because they had her put her on the meds, and she was nothing like I had known her when she left the first time. She's like a zombie.
It destroyed her.
Yeah.
Because she really didn't need those meds, and there's no guarantee as to what the side effects from those medications will
And
be.
maybe the doses be too high.
And for some people, they want that because they want to escape. They want to be zombies because it helps them escape.
It's part of the
and get through the next day
of how you do your time. Because
Yeah.
some people stay high. But
Yeah.
I've seen them, what it is in policy, because when I got in trouble, that's when I began to read all policy to see
Okay.
how to get out of my trouble.
Mhm.
And they have a thing where they don't experiment, but they would change women's medication, and the women's their tongues would swell. And then they would say, oh, we'll put you back on what you were on, because I'm sure they were experimenting with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing about prison is that they definitely use incarcerated people for experimentation. I mean, they didn't stop that I think in Mississippi till like in the 80s. That they finally stopped that. It was exposed and they stopped that. So
It's a different thing now, because look at Mississippi. That lady that had been in Wojo that died, she came, Susie Balfour.
Oh.
They came out of, were you in her class? No, you didn't graduate from North Hollywood.
No.
No.
She used to be my side monkey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
So Susie Balfour came out. They had with Susan's direction, they filed lawsuits. So she recorded before she died her testimony. But they have been using chemicals and stuff with no mask and stuff, and the
Yeah.
bulk of them have cancer.
Yeah. I
So
did see something about that. And I just want to say this one thing. something came up I saw on Facebook, Diane, I thought about you immediately, where this guy was suggesting that they put parents in jail for the crimes that their kids commit. And I thought, no,
They're doing that now, right?
no, no, nor should they, because there are a couple things. Number one, the number one thing is the fact that,
There has been a case.
yeah, but that parent actually with the gun or something gave him the gun and da da da.
That I was
And-
aware of.
And was aware of it. That's a whole
Yes,
other
totally
thing.
different.
Other than,
Accomplice.
right, other than, oh, my son committed a crime and now I should go to jail for that.
Yeah.
For one thing, I want to say that it doesn't matter what you do as a parent. There's nothing that we can guarantee that our children will not do things when they're not in our presence. But the other more insidious part of that would be, think about if they have siblings. So now you want to take the parent away from that sibling, potentially put them in prison and another child in foster care for something that a child made a choice to do. For so many reasons, it's just wrong. It's just wrong. It wouldn't be productive. And I was really sad that this was a Black person who suggested this.
But it is true, because I remember, I was afraid that you brought that up, because I was living in Hawthorne and Dion was at a party. And you know, at 12 now, no, I don't give a fuck about the party. Fuck the party, it's time to come home. But at the time, Sean had a cold. Sean cold is like, he's about to die kind of cold. He looks, you know, like whatever. So I got Sean, we in the car. I hit the little blocks of the little corners where he said the party was at. But I don't know how that part, but I ended up getting pulled over by the police. So the police asked me, what are you doing? What's going on? And I'm telling them, oh, my son is at a party, but I was trying to find my son. It's too late for me to be out, whatever. But they flashed a light in the car, which I told you, Sean looks like something. And it was like, oh, you out looking for your son, and your son in the backseat looks like he about to die. You should be worried about him. Huh? What? That's what that motherfucking man told me.
With no information, he didn't ask you what was wrong with him. He didn't say anything. He just decided that you were wrong.
I was wrong.
You were wrong. That
I'm
you were
looking
somehow
for my other child.
looking for
I
your
have
child.
my other child with me, but I'm wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Robert no, who was that? Somebody recently said, this guy Jesse Waters. I'm like, well, if Black people want more representation, they should have more babies. But then if they have babies and they can't take care of them,
Yeah,
now it's a
because of that.
problem with that. Now it's a problem. So, you know, but I just want I really have to thank each one of you for sharing your experience, because again, your testimony can become a survival guide for somebody who's been through exactly what you're going through, or what you have already overcome. That concept that I'm the only one or I'm alone, that nobody understands. Please know that people do understand. They understand, and they're praying for you. And that another thing I took away from tonight, which is good, is that chosen family is a good thing. The family is not always
Blood.
it's not always blood. Sometimes blood doesn't quite get it. And you don't get to choose blood. And we discussed how having a choice matters, right? So I think that's a good thing. I want to, and you know, there's somebody on here on a Galaxy.
Is
I'm
it
not
Mary
sure.
Wilson? They just came.
No, they've been on for
Oh.
a minute. And I'm not sure if you can
Sure, as your friend.
unmute and tell us who's Galaxy XS26. Tell us who you are. You have a Galaxy phone? Okay.
They probably know they gotta go.
That's me. That's me,
That's you? That's you?
Beverly.
And who is you?
Beverly.
Oh, Beverly. Hi, sweetie.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. So, any comments on our topic tonight?
No, I just like listening to you guys. I'm always learning something and hearing something, you know.
Awesome.
So
Thanks for being with us. Glad to have you with us, sweetie. Always. Carlos? Vivian, any last comments? Monica?
It was a wonderful, wonderful time to share. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I
Friday.
enjoyed
And thank
tonight.
you so much for being vulnerable and also letting us be here for you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Have a
In the
one.
room, Miss Cheryl.
I would like to, on Monica's behalf, how we say we can think about, don't think about our past because we've come forward, but I think I had taken Monica's mother, father, and her granddaughter, and we left Christmas Eve. And Monica cried, and she said to me, "It's not like Cheryl, you can drive and go see your son. I can't.
Mhm.
I can't." And so sometimes when when I used to go frequently, there was one time that I left Monica a note because I couldn't say bye to her because the crying hurts. It hurts her, and it hurts you to have to leave her knowing that she's in pain for her children like that. And I remember Monica's son wanted her to cross, and Monica understood if I crossed when he was younger, the older one. If I cross and I get caught, I'm going back to prison. And they were starting to give out a lengthy sentence for being returning illegally and stuff. And so it's just that what do we offer her for that part?
Yeah.
Because the
Well,
pain
you know,
is just
why
staying.
it's a challenge? It's because it's ongoing. The consequences haven't stopped. And so I understand why it's still so painful is because for example, this conversation was a trigger to remind her of something she can't control. And the only thing I can think to offer is again to focus your attention on those things and those aspects of it that are good or that are this quote unquote silver lining. Focus on the fact that they're grown and they can come see you.
And
They can bring the grandbaby. There is technology that even allows you to see them on camera. There was a time not that long ago that wasn't even possible, right? So
Correct.
I would go ahead, Monica. You want to say something?
You're right. I do focus on all the positive. And
You
every
have to.
time I sit down to write my story, I get like maybe 4 pages in and I stop because I feel the pain. I feel the pain and I don't want to feel it and I don't want to drink. And I used to cry, my kids crying, I wish I could be there. And that used to affect them, me crying.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really cry in front of them. Now, my son caught me crying because he left and he forgot something. And when he came back, I was crying. But I don't cry in front of them because they feel bad enough leaving.
Yeah. But I'm excited for you that you have gotten to that place where you know
Yeah.
that you should. The only way to get through that is to change what you're thinking about, because the painful thing is going to still be there.
Yep.
But what can I think of instead of that to allow me to get through the moment? So I appreciate that. But like I say, it's really difficult because the offense, as it were, continues to happen.
Yep.
It's like them saying we should get over racism, but it's still going on. The
Yeah.
offense, is a constant reminder no matter what. So, and in your circumstances, you still cannot cross that border and
Yeah.
you still cannot be here. And so you have to wait. So, again, I commend you. Anybody else in the room?
Thank you.
Final
Bye bye.
thoughts?
My final thoughts were, I appreciate everybody opening up, and I want to commend you, Miss Roberta and Miss Cheryl, for how far you guys came.
Yeah, because you didn't have to make it. You didn't have to. And like B said,
B, what's the
No, it's okay.
You know.
No, it's-
Don't try to do that.
like B said, it is impressive that you all have survived
Yeah.
not just the incarceration, but what came after that. The reentry process, the paper process, getting off parole. You guys did all that. And everybody don't make it. Everybody don't make it. And so you guys are in a good class, elite company. And I just want to say, I commend you guys. I thank you all. And this has been another wonderful session of Free to Heal. We're on YouTube. Check us out, Free to Heal LA, on YouTube and Facebook, and social media sites. Please look us up, check us out, leave us comments. And always remember that if there's any topic that you want to discuss, or even if you're going through something on a particular day that you want to have us address, we can change whatever topic we were talking about so that we can address what your issues are. Because this is a forum and a platform for all of us so that we can be healed from those scars that were caused by our interaction with the criminal justice system. So I want to say thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
That is session 3.
Everybody have a good week.